Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out here. Today on Mother's Day, I'm going to tell you a beautiful story of a little boy called Billy Bunch who didn't have mother or father. After all, Billy was Fox's mother, wasn't he? You don't have to be a female, you don't have to give birth to become mother. That's what this book tells. Trust him, days to come to him and sit on him and ignore him. Whether he was orphaned or not, nobody knew, because he was found in a basket in a police station and a police constable named him Billy Bunch. Now he grew up in orphanages and foster homes which were not very kind to him, rather. So he became very reserved. He kept to himself. He never talked, and when he did, he stuttered. Life was very tough on him. He didn't have any friends, people made fun of him, the foster parents were unkind to him. Nobody wanted to keep him, so he had to keep changing foster homes and so school. Now, one of his foster homes was a house of a lady who was retired, who had 2 children of her own, who had been grown and gone, and she used to keep foster children. She was called Auntie May, and she stayed, it was near the edge of a wilderness, and there was an old chapel, and beyond that there was this canal and the wilderness. Now people stayed away from that place because they thought that there were ghosts and some dark arts, so nobody cared to go there. And Billy also was not courageous, but he was curious. So one day he wandered into the wilderness, and there he found his own life, his family, his friends, the birds, the swallows, the kingfisher, the swans. He used to sit in the soft grass and then wait for the birds, and he used to enjoy their chirping, their activity, their finding food, and then feeding their young ones. He used to stay quite still, and the reward was that the birds used to trust him. They used to come to him and sit on him and ignore him. He loved that wilderness, and one day he happened to save a swan from some rogue boys who were throwing stones. He was so angry at the boys that he started talking to the swan, telling swan that, you shouldn't come here, you shouldn't trust them, you should be at the safe place. And he realized that he wasn't stuttering anymore. The swan, who couldn't speak, gave him his speech. He was very happy. He used to go there every day now. The swan wouldn't come back although, but he found another set of friends. There were 4 little foxes he found on a mound, and their play used to be his TV time. He used to sit there and watch, motionless, looking at the fox cubs playing and prinning and rolling on themselves, and he enjoyed the show. And one day he saw the mother fox, the vixen, who died of a road accident, and Billy buried the vixen and promised her that I will take care of the cubs. It's my responsibility from now on. He became the vixen, the mother fox. And he kept his promise. He fed them food from the larder of Auntie May or from the school dustbins where there was always some leftover food. But one day the fox cubs were discovered, and the people are not very kind, sorry to say, but they tried to kill and clear the wilderness of the dangerous animal like fox who could create trouble in future. But one fox cub survived, and Billy decided to take the cub home. But Auntie May wouldn't have him. She said that either you stay or you go out with the fox. And that's what Billy did. He left the house to go back into the wilderness. He ran away from home. There were police behind, but he was determined to take the fox cub as far and safe as possible. He took care of the fox cub, fed him on the way. Slowly, they were going away from the city, and they reached the river. Beyond river, there was complete jungle, and he wanted to cross the river, but it was raining now and he didn't know how. He found an old kind man on the river bank. He had his boat, and there were a lot of swans on the boat, the injured swans that the old man was nursing. They became friends. The old man allowed Billy to bring his fox on the boat. Every time they halted, Billy and the fox cub would run into the wilderness nearby, and the fox cub would try hunt and disappear into the hedges for hours, and then when Billy got tired, he would come back to the boat, and the fox cub would come back after a few hours. Then Slowly, he started coming back later and later. Sometimes he wouldn't come back till middle of the night, and one day it was early next morning. Billy was worried. After all, Billy was Fox's mother, wasn't he? But old man explained to him that the fox belongs to the wild. You must let him go. One day he might not return. And that was too much for Billy to take. And one day he kept stone on his heart. He made up his mind, and he did what it was right to do. He fired the gun in the air, scared his fox cub, and let him go away from him into the wilderness where he belonged. And the fox cub never came back. Billy cried for days, but he knew he did what was right. And that's the beautiful story of this book, Little Foxes from Michael Morpurgo. The story is dedicated to all the mothers who may not be females. You don't have to be a female. You don't have to give birth to become mother. That's what this book tells. And also to all animal mothers who are selfless but determined. They raise the babies to become independent, and they let them go when they are. Beautiful story. This book was given to me for reading by Bookmook Library, owned by Shefali Malhotra. It's a beautiful collection that this library has. So I recommend this library. Please go through their website, and if you like the collection, she will help you choose the right books depending on your reading level. So do subscribe to their library, and thank you for this book. Happy Mother's Day to all of you.